Good morning. I cannot sing, so don't even have me try to pretend. That is crazy. I was just thinking, like, why do I have the Rocky song? And first of all, let me just be very honest with you. I have never seen a Rocky movie. What is it, Rocky 8 by now? I don't know. But welcome to the Ask Zena radio show. So, why do I have the Rocky song? Because when I hear that song, I envision this, Sylvester Stallone climbing up these stairs and, like, at the top of the stairs, just doing this gyration and this dance because he's accomplished something. So, the Ask Zena show is about motivation, inspiration, collaboration, manifestation, all of those Asians. And I am here to help you accomplish and achieve and live the best life possible. How is that possible? Because I am going to motivate you, share some information, and help you along the way. So, thank you so very much for tuning in. Happy Hump Day. It's Wednesday, and we are going to talk about endurance. But first, I just have to get on my little rant because driving into the studio is a feat of endurance for me. So today, Waze took me off the street, got off on Slauson, and if you're from Los Angeles and you know the 110 freeway, I was off on Slauson and I had to take the streets all the way into Mid-City, and it was crazy. First of all, LA, seriously, what's up with the potholes? My car is so low, like, I'm probably going to need new tires again. I just don't even understand. If anyone's out there and they know what I'm talking about, please give me a shout out. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So, I wanted to, well, we got a couple of things to do today because we are getting ready to prepare for, the holidays, and I want to share some things with you guys that are amazing, that are happening. And first of all, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in, and thank you for listening. Thank you for tapping in to the Good News radio station, and thank you for listening to the Ask Zena radio. And so I am the host, Coach Ask Zena. Ask me anything, right? So I have 20 years of corporate human resources and consulting experience, just to tell you a little bit about myself. I have built organizations recently. I've helped to build a broadcast network organization in the LA area, and it really was a feat of accomplishment because of all the things that I had to pull together in 5 months. Hired over 100 plus people. And I'm not talking about all the same discipline, and discipline means title or job description or whatever. I'm talking about from anchors and reporters all the way down to production assistants. So I love what I do. That's why I'm here sharing with you. In January, we are going to be talking about career and how to get a job and interview hacks. And I was just told about job ghosting. I'm going to have to Google that one to find out more information about that. But in January, I want to kick it off, get you guys ready to get seen, get interviewed, and get hired, right? And if you're in a job, how to get promoted in that job, how to be seen in an organization. So we are going to kick that off in January and get you all straight. Today, we are talking about endurance. And I really wanted to focus on motivating everyone. I get so many messages in my social media about it's been a tough year. This is not a good time of year for me. So many people are going through so many different things. And I just want to share that you are not alone. And I'm here. So let me shout out my email address because I am always here to answer questions and always here as a shoulder to pray or to send words of encouragement. So if you don't know how to connect with Coach Ask Zena, then you could do that through any social media platform. But you can also email me at Coach.AskZena, Zena, @gmail.com. Why am I hesitating? I don't know why. I didn't have my morning cup of coffee. I've been up since 3 o'clock. Did my meditation, sat outside, listened to the waves, and couldn't go back to sleep because there are some amazing things happening, and I really want to help you guys understand how life can shift so quickly, and you can just be in the flow and in harmony, in alignment with what your destiny and what your purpose is. And my guest today is going to talk a little bit about that as she shares her story of endurance. Interesting. So, if you've listened to the first episode, you heard Mr. Bill call me Z, right? 4 letters in my name, Zena. I don't go by nicknames. There are 5 people in the world who call me Z. There are 5 people in the world that I give an eyebrow to, but I let them call me Z. My guest today is one of those. Is one of those individuals, and it always seems strange to me, but there are 5 people that do that. There are only 4 people in the world that I have in my tribe that make me laugh till I fall on the floor. Almost crying in tears laughing. And let me tell you, you need that kind of medicine in your life. If you don't have someone who makes you belly laugh, you better find someone who makes you belly laugh, because there is nothing that will shift your energy like a good belly laugh. All you need is one. So my younger son is one. TM, you know who you are. You're another one. Oh my God. Every conversation, I'm on the floor. This lady here is another person that makes me belly laugh all the time. A matter of fact, I had to do a disclaimer before we got on the radio today and said, don't start. Wow. So I want to tell you a little bit about my guest, and then she's going to share more with you. So I met this woman about maybe 16, 17 years ago. And we both ended up working together at a major entertainment company. And it was just an amazing spiritual connection, sisterhood connection. She was my boss, but instantly we felt just completely connected. Almost like twin spirits. It was like we could finish each other's sentences. And then life happened and we sort of parted ways. And our first conversation after, I don't know, maybe 10 years, it was like we never missed a day, and we haven't missed a day since then. Just an amazing person. I'm going to let her tell her story. I need you guys to hear this because this is a powerful testimonial of endurance. She's gone through a lot, and listen to her voice, listen to her personality, and you will know that this is a remarkable woman with just such a spirit about her that after everything that she's gone through, she is still here moving and grooving, making people laugh, motivating people, and sharing her story. And when she tells you about what she's doing now, you will just be so amazed. So let me bring out Larre. Hold on a second. I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Oh, it is so good to laugh at myself. You're like, what is she doing? Larre?
Okay, so first of all, you told me not to get started, and then you have those little whack dogs barking. I asked for some who let the dogs out dogs. I didn't ask for the puppies that are about to be killed in the puppy mill. Okay?
Peter might be listening. Hold on. So Larre said to me that I don't want people clapping. and get your sound effects together. So
I
I said,
did. Sound effect game, whack.
I'm still under construction. Okay. Anyway, so I thought, okay, let me find the dogs. I did find who let the dogs out, but I thought, no, I'm gonna change this up a little bit. So that's why you guys heard. Uh oh. Uh oh.
Wow.
Solo. Solo. All right. Larre, thank you for joining me today. I know that the listeners are definitely going to be moved and inspired with the words of wisdom and your story. So tell us about yourself and tell me what it means to you when I say endurance.
So let me just do a quick disclaimer because sometimes I do say a bad word every now and then. I will watch my mouth, Zena, and I say it in a positive way. It's not like I say anything crazy, but I'm in the flow right now,
Go ahead.
so I'm just going to be channeling what I'm supposed to be saying.
Do you?
But anyway, so I am just a universally spiritual person who has endured many challenges, but I'm steadfast. I'm happy. I raised a son as a single parent. I love, and adore him. He'll be 21 in February. Ooh, tough class.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in HR with several different Fortune 500 companies in my 20-plus year career, starting in talent acquisition, and I've been an HR business partner for the last 10. I'm a fitness, health, and wellness coach and an inspirational blogger. So that's who I consider myself to be. What endurance means to me is, number one, stepping up to the plate of challenges and pain and friggin' swinging for the fences.
Wow.
That is endurance to me.
Okay.
It is showing compassion for yourself as you go through scary, irritating, annoying, painful, stressful challenges. Showing the compassion for yourself that you would show for someone else.
Okay.
It is experiencing pain while knowing that change is always coming, no matter what. That's like one of the things that you are guaranteed. Change and death. Yeah, none of us are getting out of this alive. So at least in our human forms, okay? Mm-hmm. So, and then it is leveraging prior learning from experiences of endurance to current challenges. What's the point of enduring something if you don't learn anything that helps you get through something else?
Preach.
So that's what it is to me.
So, yeah, she hasn't taken off her HR hat just yet. So we'll pare it back just a little bit. We'll peel that onion down just a little bit because she's being very professional and very formal.
Wow.
You know, she gave you the executive summary. Okay, well, you're about to start. She gave you the executive summary. The executive summary is endurance in the Wikipedia. This is what that looks like. Girl, let's get real. So
let's do it.
My girl called me one day, and no, you didn't call me. You walked in the office, and I noticed something about you. And you're like, oh, this little thing? And what was it? Within 48 hours, what happened?
Well, years ago, back in 2000, whatever, 4-ish, I just came down with a very serious viral situation, chickenpox, which most people get through pretty easily. That chickenpox situation led to a autoimmune disorder called Guillain-Barré. And of course, I literally, I was at my house, um, and this particular, I had already been off because I had had some physical issues going on that I didn't understand. Um, I called my mom and I said, "Mom, something's wrong. Half of half of my face didn't work. I
Mm-hmm.
was slurring my words. I couldn't keep, the saliva in my mouth. My mom is a nurse. She thought I was having a stroke. So she asked me to come to her house and take a cab because she was actually caring for her own mother at the time.
Wow.
So I said, all right, I'll be there. I packed up my little boy in my little black Mercedes at the time, and I drove. Took a 20-minute drive from middle of LA to Carson, California, which is roughly, I don't know, 12, 13, 14 miles.
Sure.
By the time I got to my mom's house, I couldn't get out of the car, literally.
Wow.
So, of course, I was crying, and my sister, who is another one of my heroes, came out and helped me get into the house. I just didn't understand what was happening. My mom asked me why I drove. I said because I had to get here, and I didn't realize the critical nature of what was happening. With my boy in the car, if the drive had been another 5 minutes, I don't know what would have happened because I literally was becoming paralyzed, more and more paralyzed by the minute.
Wow.
So I went in, and my mother said she did a quick exam, she and my sister, and said, you need to go to the emergency room. So you have to understand, in my family, everybody in my family's in medicine, both my parents. And so I've had stitches in my living room. Because my father, with what he did for a living, he could give stitches. My mom could do blood pressure. So I had never gone to the hospital or
Wow.
anything. So when my mother said, you need to go to the emergency room, I was like, seriously, Mom, I'm good. And she's like, no, you're not. Anyway, go to the emergency room. Next thing I know, I was going through every test in the book, and within 24 hours, I was completely paralyzed. I'll say within a few days because it was very progressive. I would lose the ability to move a leg. I'd lose the ability to move an arm. I'd lose the ability. So whatever it was, I just became completely paralyzed. And,
And this is from chickenpox? This is from
it
chickenpox.
was, this is from Guillain-Barré. Chickenpox was just a virus.
The virus that.
An autoimmune disorder can enter your body from any virus.
Oh, okay.
So the chickenpox is just chickenpox. It
Okay.
could have been pneumonia, could have been a bad flu, could have been whatever. The
Okay.
fact is that my immune system tore down the covering of my nerves.
Oh, okay.
So that meant that my nerves were exposed. So I don't know if you know what it feels when you hit your funny bone
Sure.
and you get that weird nerve feeling. That's
Yes.
how my body felt
Okay.
all over. Extremely painful. It hurt to be touched.
Wow.
Um, um, I remember my son feeding me in the hospital and him, being 6 years old at the time and treating me like, open up, Mama, choo-choo. That, although that was fun for him, I held it together, but that was complete misery for me
So,
because I'm a highly, highly independent
oh
person,
yeah.
and to be in a situation where I had to have people wipe my ass. I couldn't. Excuse me, I said ass. I'm
That's
sorry.
girl, do you?
Um, but I literally
Yeah.
had to have people care for me. My sister came in the hospital with all the smell good stuff and would bathe me every day because she knew how important that was. My mother hired people to come and do my nails in the hospital because you know how we are about our nails. And it was just complete not. I didn't understand. I was in ICU. They told me that the disease was taking over my breathing, which would mean that either I would die or I would have a trach, which is the hole they put in your throat.
Yes.
So that I could breathe. I tell you, going through, sitting with your mom on the side of the bed, going through where to find your life insurance.
Oh my gosh.
And what I wanted to happen with my son in the event of my death.
Wow.
And, my mom crying and saying, babe, I don't want to talk about this. And I'm like, Mom, if there were ever a time, right,
Sure.
we got to talk about this.
Sure.
And of course, I was even joking back then. When I was in ICU, and I opened my eyes and everybody in my family's around my bed and everybody's crying and everything. And I said, what the hell's wrong with you people? I'm not going into the light voluntarily. And, my sister was like, girl, why are you always laughing about stuff?
Being
like,
Larre.
well, what else are you going to do?
Still being Larre.
I'm in pain. So what are you going to do? So anyway, that is what happened to me. And ever since then, I have been rebuilding and enduring that time. At the entry of the worst thing that had happened to me was a divorce.
Wow.
My divorce became minute on my timeline of life when it came to an illness. Anybody who becomes paralyzed completely and still has complete function of their brain to understand what's happening to them, that is complete and utter endurance. Because I couldn't work out, and you know how important it is for me to work out. I couldn't get up and hug my son. I couldn't do anything. And when I say anything, I mean literally anything. I couldn't even relieve my bowels. I had to be given medication so that I could relieve my bowels. I mean, my entire body was paralyzed.
Wow.
So luckily it didn't take over my respiratory system, so I didn't have to go through enduring a trach or having my family endure my death. So I tell you what, when I wanted to watch TV, I had to have people turn the TV on, change the channel for me, set me up in the bed, lay me down in the bed, whatever. I just couldn't do anything. I had to use a bedpan.
So you went from being a totally healthy woman, vibrant, coming to my Mardi Gras and Cinco de Mayo parties.
Yep.
to like in a blink of an eye in, let's say a couple of weeks, to completely, paralyzed in the hospital, looking at your lifespan, trying to make plans for your son, you a single person, single parent, a professional, having a thriving career. Wow. And so, but I want to, the personality that you guys hear, she said 2 bad words. I hope your mom is listening. No, no, but this is who she is. And so Larre said while she was in the bed, immobile, she's still making jokes, and her sister's like, what are you doing? This is who she is. Do you think that your mindset or the quickness of your mind or your spirit or something deeper inside kept you to say, I'm not going out like this?
Listen, I'm not a person who's afraid of death. Okay, so I believe if you're afraid of death, you're afraid of life.
Okay, good one.
So, yeah, I just believe that. So, but I just knew that there was more for me to do. Now, initially, I didn't know that, but as I went through it, and I just said, you know what, number one is my son. His father was not. I was married to him, and but he wasn't a responsible enough person to help me. So I had to I wanted to make sure he was going to be good.
Okay.
So the only way to do that is to be here. You know, I knew my mother couldn't take losing me. I knew that my father couldn't take losing another child. I mean, my brother had died several years before.
Okay.
So, you know, that's just a lot for my family to endure.
Sure.
And I, you know, if you're in the midst of enduring something in your life and you can help someone you love so that they don't have to endure something, I mean, do it. You know, and I just felt like in the moment I was in control of where I went and what happened to me.
Okay. Good.
Now, later, you know, later in the story, as I was coming through the paralyzation, I remember, I don't know if you guys ever watched Kill Bill, but that part where Uma Thurman is paralyzed and she moves her toe. Anybody who's seen that movie, if you haven't seen it, watch it. But that was me. I was like ecstatic because my toe moved.
Wow.
And I was like, wait, I did that. Because the thing is, when your nerves are raw, the myelin sheath over your nerves carries the brain signal to whatever it is in your body to move.
Mm-hmm.
If that myelin sheath is gone, your brain can't communicate with your body.
Sure.
And I know that is very strange, but no matter how you work out, no matter how strong you are, if you don't have a nervous system, you're down. You're out.
Wow.
That's it. You can't do anything. But according to my diagnosis, most people who had Guillain-Barré were better within 2 years. Like within 2 years, they were 98% back. I was not one of those people.
Mm.
So I have gone through some wicked physical therapy. I mean, Zena was in physical therapy, came to see me a few times. I elected to go into a therapy center and live there because I was living with my parents. They had to bring me via ambulance from the hospital when I was released to my parents' house on a gurney, where my mom had set up in her living room a hospital existence for me. I had to be lifted in and out of the bed with a lift that I absolutely hated. And yes, my mom will probably either listen to this live or hear this, and she and my father remember them Hoyer lifting me in and out of the bed. It was misery. I fell out of the bed a couple of times.
Oh, my goodness.
My son was young. One time I fell out of the bed, and I was like a sack of potatoes if I fell out, because my son had to sleep with me. Even though we were in a little twin hospital bed, he had to crawl his then little self up and sleep with me and throw his leg over me or whatever. And I fell out of the bed one day, and he jumps down. He's looking at me under the bed, and he said in the middle of the night, "Mom, what happened?" And I'm like, "I don't know, son. Could you go get your grandparents? Because you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He thought it was fun."
Wow.
But, yeah, and during that, it was really super, super hard, you know. And my dad, God love him, you know, having to come, I used to laugh because he put on green gloves, green latex gloves, and he'd come down with his red robe, looking like some kind of freaky Santa Claus, to help me go pee.
Wow.
And I was a grown woman. But guess what? You do what you have to do.
Absolutely.
So many people when I was in the hospital saw my business. And, you know, I just got to a point where I was like, somebody came in, who's next? I'm on, you know, just come and take a look, lift the cover.
Well, I think pride goes out the window, right? I mean, because you just have to be taken care of. So
I had to be.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So when you think
Yeah.
about all of that you've gone through, I mean, you're just shaving the top layer, and I know because I know your story. And now fast forward 14, 16 years. How many years?
About 16.
About 16. Fast
Yeah.
forward, and you having to endure that. I mean, just being a single parent is challenging enough, and then having to endure that with physical limitations and having to teach yourself, how to do so many functions that we take for granted, and then going
Mm-hmm.
back to work. If you could share information on like mindset, like what actually helped you to get through that, because someone is, God forbid someone has Guillain-Barré. I mean, I'll give you Larre's information on how to contact her and hear more about her story. But, people are going through things. I mean, they may not be going to the magnitude that you're going through, and maybe they might be going through worse, and they just don't realize. It's like Les Brown says, if you can look up, you can get up. Maybe you can't get up, right? Because in your situation, you couldn't get up, but you could look up. And the fact that you looked up, you knew that you had another day. And so,
Mm-hmm.
how do you motivate yourself? How do you stay in the game? How do you just say, okay, I'm up, but I don't want to be up? Like, help me understand, help people to understand that, because, and the reason why I want you to share that is everyone thinks that their problem is greater than someone else's. And the reason why I brought you out there is because I know the magnitude of your health situation. And so everyone is like, well, my fingernail broke, my car broke, my tire broke, can't make this payment, can't buy my kid like all these 13,000 gifts for Christmas, can't go to fly somewhere. Like even myself, I was like, woe is me, I have no one to spend Christmas with, and, I'm going to be by myself, and Thanksgiving and all that. We can fall into that rabbit hole of whatever that looks like for ourselves. But everyone has a situation, everyone has a story, and some are different, and some are greater than the others, and some are more challenging than the others. But if you can look up, when you looked up, tell me how you were able to endure each day to get the strength to move on, to then go back to work, to, all of those things. I mean, I'm just like in awe of first of all knowing you and being in a friendship with you, but secondly, just wow, how motivating, how courageous, how strong, you are to do that and to endure that. So talk to us a little bit about that, because someone somewhere is going through something, and they think that their thing is greater than everybody else's.
So, um, full disclosure is that I was suicidal at one point because
Mm.
when I was released from the hospital, they wanted to put me in a nursing home after I went through all the physical therapy. The insurance company wanted to put me in a nursing home. I had a 3-level townhome that I know you remember, Z,
Mm-hmm.
that I loved. I loved that place,
It was a great
you
place.
know. So you learn, number one, material things, really? A Mercedes, really? Now I had a Mercedes that I couldn't drive. I had a 3-level condo that I couldn't occupy. I had a son that I felt I was a burden to. And at the time, he couldn't live with me because I didn't feel like if something happened, I could protect him. So I became very, very suicidal.
Mm.
And I don't even know if I told you this, but I actually planned my death.
Oh my gosh,
And
no. Mm.
I was in my bedroom on the lower floor of my condo, and I had a girlfriend that would come and pick my son up and take him to school. And so my plan was, because I had all kind of medication you can imagine, right? My plan was to take a bunch of meds and just fall asleep.
Wow.
And I wanted to do it first thing in the morning because I knew once my son was gone, I'd be completely alone, at least for a good 8, 9 hours, because I needed not to be rescued, if you
Mm.
know what I'm saying. And what stopped me was every time my son came home from school, he would run in the house. I'd hear him come in. He'd run downstairs and he would straddle me in the bed and then just start telling me all the business of what happened that day. All of his little friends that did this and all of his little friends that did that. And I pictured him running downstairs and not understanding and
Oh,
straddling my dead body.
oh my gosh. Mm.
That stopped me. I tell him, and I have told him many times in his life, he has saved my life because he did. If I didn't have him, I would not be here.
Mm.
So when you say to me, what motivated me, that was one of my big motivators. You have to find what motivates you to get through. For me, it was my son.
Sure.
He needed me. I had an obligation. He's here. He was planned in my case. I know there are other children who aren't planned. They didn't ask to be here. That is our responsibility to step up to the plate and be that parent and not, try to find a way out of enduring what you have to endure. If you're in a wheelchair, if you are homeless, whatever's going on in your life, your children need you.
Yeah.
So that was really, really something that motivated me. And then from that day forward, I had to find my inner strength, because even if your children motivate you to do something bigger and better, it's your inner strength that allows you to endure. It is that still small voice that says, girl, get your ass up out of this bed and listen to what I have to say, because you have something to say. When I say something to say, I mean something to do in your life.
Yes.
We're all here for reasons beyond our human ability to understand.
Absolutely.
If you don't know your meaning of life, so what? Who cares? You're here, so you're here for a reason. Stop trying to figure it out and get it moving. And I couldn't drive. I had to learn how to drive with my hands. So I started making phone calls and learning to drive, because I did not want my son to have to be taken to school by somebody the rest of his life. I also figured if I tapped out, what does he learn from this? If you could meet this guy, my son, as an adult, he is a strong mofo. He's big and tall, but he's also really, really emotionally strong.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even know his own emotional strength.
Wow.
And can you imagine being a child at 6, wondering if your mom's going to die, and you're worried about whether or not you can get your nails done?
Come on now.
I mean, I even look at my own endurance, and I think what I went through was nothing compared to a 6-year-old who had to feed his own mother.
Mm.
So when I looked at his strength, that motivated me and gave me the ability to see my own.
Absolutely.
So now I learned how to drive. It was scary. I had to hire somebody to teach me how to drive. I had to learn how to talk again, because, it took over some of the use of my mouth and my jaw and my tongue. I had to relearn how to eat solid foods, because I couldn't chew properly without choking. I had to learn how to sit up. I had to learn how to walk using a walker or some other assisted device. I had to learn how to dress myself. I had to learn, I had to learn how to sit up by sitting up 5 minutes at times 5 minutes. My mom would set a timer, and let me sit up in a wheelchair for 5 minutes. And then she would say, okay, 5 minutes is up. And she would turn the timer off, and I was in misery because it hurt so bad to sit up that long. but I had to
Wow.
learn that stuff. And so fast forward to through the years, once I was able to work out again, it started with sitting in a wheelchair and using an arm bike, which is basically pedals. They're like bike pedals, and you just use the arm, do your arms, because I couldn't control really my legs at that point. I had, and I still have no proprioception, which means that if I close my eyes, I'm lost in space,
Oh my goodness.
right? If I'm standing or the lights go out, like if I'm walking around my house at night, I usually will have my phone on, like the light, the flashlight, because if
Sure.
by chance the electricity goes out and I'm on my feet, forget about it. I'm on the ground.
Oh my goodness.
Um, but anyway, so I had to learn how to work out again. I couldn't use my feet without seeing them, which means that's why I can't drive, because I can't sit and look at my feet while watching the road, because that wouldn't be a good thing. Um, you'd be I People like Zena who have road rage would be cussing at me on the street.
What?
But
Wait. No, no, wait. Hold, no. Pump the brakes. No, you did not put me out there like that. Wow.
anyway,
Because I
yeah,
can see
yeah.
certain people's head like, yes, she does, she does. Okay. Full disclaimer. I do
Uh-huh.
have road rage. I do. I do. And I do have conversations with idiots in the car,
Yes,
especially these
yes,
people here in LA. And I'm a native
yes,
Angelino. I know you
yes.
probably driving behind me. You think that I'm driving bad too. And just really quick, I have a personalized license plate, and I have seen people take pictures of my personalized license plate because they think I'm somebody else, someone who wrote a real famous book. I mean, I'm an author, but someone who wrote a real famous book because of what it says. I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to have people looking for me. But it's like, I cannot believe that this person just cut us off and that person wrote that book. That wasn't me, but I did cut you off. Don't put me out there like that again. We not doing part two
But,
like that.
well, it's kind of too late, but but so anyway, I learned how to do all that, and went back to work, um, and you know, I live my life every day in pain.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of the level of the physical nerve pain. Still today, but I endure my disability now as background noise.
Good for you.
And what I mean by that is, look, some mornings I get up and I'm like, F this. I'm so sick of this, you know. Um, Having a disability, not very sexy, if you know what I'm saying. So, I get up and I got my scooter by the bed. I got my walker over there, and sometimes it's tiring and it's frustrating. And, when you're out in the world and people say the silly things that they say and we have to
Oh,
endure.
that's just
I,
another
I,
show.
I
Don't
had a
even go there.
woman,
That's another show. Because that that
no, but I'm
that will
saying,
anger me.
but, but the thing is, it's all about endurance.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
about, when somebody says to you, oh, I'm glad I'm not you. That is a level of endurance that you
I can't even
have
imagine.
to go through.
I can't
And
even
the thing
imagine.
is, if you saw me, people that know me, I'm sitting in a scooter and I roll around in a scooter. But you would never know, other than the scooter, that I have a disability.
No,
Matter
ever,
of fact,
ever.
I look like I could just get up and sock you. And sometimes I do in my mind's eye,
No,
right?
no,
Depending
you
on what
do. You
someone
do.
says.
So I have to tell them this funny scooter moment. So very funny
Oh,
moment. Oh,
Lord.
yes. Oh, God. So I this summer I did a couple of women's events down at the ocean where we released some fear, worries, and doubts, and women lives were changed. I mean, one woman received, as a result of her releasing her fears, bought a new car. Another woman went to Paris, went to France, and is living a life and met a wonderful man. And Another woman is developing her business. Another woman is doing her coaching thing. Another woman has a successful store in Scottsdale. We did it over a couple of months, but I'm going to get to the moment because I'm probably just going to fall off this chair and start laughing when I tell you about this wheelchair moment. Larre came a couple of times, so we were in sisterhood and in celebration of one another and just sharing our stories. Another woman received, or probably has received, several tens of thousands of dollars as a result of just releasing and letting go and just allowing the universe to bring forth all of those things that, the universe has for us, right? I have made significant changes I'm doing a radio show, and other things. And so just a lot of things have happened. But so my dear, lovely Kasha is my friend Liz's daughter in Scottsdale. Kasha. Anyway, so we're walking, we're putting stuff back in our cars, and I guess we weren't moving fast enough for the woman in the scooter who whips by us, around us, and looks back like, move the hell over. And I'm like, what just happened here? Kasha and I are like, did she just put us on blast like that? Did she just not even a beep beep, but it was like, move out the way. And she's way over there already. Like, you had to be there, but it was hysterical. It was so hysterical. Like, Larre is, first of all, she is the most physically fit person probably in my tribe. And she's in a scooter. And the only reason why I said she's in a scooter is because she said it. But not only that, there are no excuses. Like, seriously, there are no excuses. No excuses.
No, not at all.
This woman gets up and she rows or does whatever stuff she does for like at least an hour a day. There are no excuses. And so I wanted to say a couple of things about endurance. Like, first of all, there's no excuses. You talked about the motivating factor, which was your son. So everyone, if you're going through something, if you don't have a child or you're, estranged from your child or estranged from your family, find something. If the fact that you can just say, I have breath today, and it's bad breath.
Yeah.
You didn't brush your teeth. Whatever. Just find something. I am all about shifting your energy really, really quickly. People are waiting for the man with the white horse to come knocking at the door and look, it doesn't look that way. Life doesn't look that way. You weren't born a Hilton. You weren't born, you just weren't born that way. So let's just deal with the stuff that we have right now. Let's just get motivated with what we have going on. And if you can open up your eyes, this woman could only open up her eyes and can communicate. She was laying paralyzed, and she found the motivation to make it through, to endure, to raise her child as a single parent. Her son is a successful young man. He's a respectful young man. She went back to work. Okay? She taught herself how to drive. She probably taught herself how to wipe and brush and do all kinds of other things. And I said that
not because you know a sister can't be stinky, so.
But I didn't want to get graphic. I didn't want to get graphic, but there are people out there who I can't do this. I can't do that. There are people out there. I remember telling someone this week, and you and I had this conversation about, someone had an illness, and it was like, food can heal you. You got to change your diet to heal your body rather than taking all of these pills and all this. And the response that I got is, I can't give up this food. So you have a choice, people.
Every day.
So you want to choose, bologna over life. I mean, you can, how long does it take to chew a piece of bologna? I haven't had bologna in forever, but what is it, gone in 8 seconds? So you're going to choose 8 seconds of bologna over life without pain. Life without, life seeing your grandkids, life seeing your kids. I mean, come on now. We got to get real about some stuff here. If putting Pepsi in your body, and I am not a nutritionalist, trust me. But if putting Pepsi in your body or putting another cigarette to your face or doing something is prohibiting you from living the life, the best life, I don't care if you're a hundredaire, a thousandaire, a millionaire, a zeroaire, right? Some days it's like that. Some days the bank account is negative. I don't care what that looks like. But if you're making a choice to put something or to do something or to be addicted to something, okay, I'm not even talking about the addiction to people and the craziness that people do, because I got another client who's like, she can't get rid of this man, and I'm like, yes you can, just close the door. But you no, banana pudding.
I'm agreeing.
Banana pudding
with you.
we have a code word. It's called banana pudding, and she knows not to make this sound. What's the sound that you make? That's the sound. If you got a friend who makes that sound, let me tell you, there's a whole bunch behind that sound. I know we're just having fun today, but the point that I wanted to make about the endurance, I wanted you guys to hear her story. I wanted you to hear from her lips, her personality, how she is moving and grooving and living her life, even under the circumstances. She's moved and has managed her life far beyond from where she was to where she is currently. And maybe you don't have those same situations. Maybe you don't have those health problems. Maybe it's just money. Because I keep hearing money. I keep hearing people saying it was a tough year. The money, the money, the money, the money, the money. You know what? If you are, let me just tell you, I live an abundant life and I'm not a millionaire. But I was one person, too, that was like tied to the money. You know, driving the BMW, living in the 5-bedroom house and da-da-da-da-da-da, concerts and limousines. You know what my life was like when I lived in L.A. before. You know, it's not like
Bougie.
that. That's two. We're going to have a side conversation. We'll talk after this. Anyway. But you know, it's really, come on people, you can do this. You can get in the game. You were born for a particular reason. And let me just say this. You have a story within you, and someone needs to hear your story. I don't care if you need to pick up peppermint sticks on the corner to sell them to make money. Remember the people used to do that? But you have a story, and someone needs you to share that story, and someone needs you to motivate them. So I'm just basically asking you to step out of yourself and see that it's not that bad. It's not that bad. And if that person can do it, you can do it. And so this is a season that I just want to share and inspire, because we're getting ready for a new year. And I am all about each year, I need to be striving and making improvements. And I want you to live the best life that's possible for you, whatever that means. So you know what? A lot of people dance and they shake and they twerk and they do all this. Shake that shit off. Excuse my language. Shake it off. And get real with what life has to offer you right here, right now. So if you're going to give 3 quick pieces of advice to people who are listening, just to get in the game and get ready and start living an abundant, amazing life, and just, you know, find your joy. Joy is different than happiness. So I'll have to school you on that another time. But joy is very different than happiness. Happiness is temporary. Joy is internal. So Let's close out with 3 pieces of advice to give to people, and then I've got to get a shout out to a couple of other things, and we're going to close this out today.
All right. So, first of all, when you're going through something, you have to be mindful of how you're treating others. That's one thing I would say. So sometimes when you're going through something you think is so horrible, and you treat your family badly, or because your job is terrible, or whatever it is. But be mindful of the way you're treating others as you're going through something you have to endure. Because sometimes you'll push away the very people who can help you get through something. Number two, share your story. Just like Zena was just saying, allow others to benefit from what you've learned. There's no way any of us can live long enough to learn every single lesson.
Mm-hmm.
So allow people the ability to hear your story or present your story. And then number three is don't fight it, flow it. If you're going through some kind of an illness, Zena and I were just talking about this the other day. Don't fight it, just flow it. You know what I mean? Find out what you can do to make things better.
Yes.
And do those things.
Baby
Eat
steps.
right. Work out. You know what I mean? Like Zena said, I'm working out every single day. My body fat is fabulous right now. So I'm probably stronger now than I've ever been in my life. So, those are the three things. But I have one more I just want to share because I think this is also really important. I'm sorry. I have to say this. Endurance has nothing to do with fairness.
Mm.
So if you are in the middle of something and you're saying, it's not fair, why does that person have to, why does this, why does that? Stop asking why. It's a waste of time.
Preach to teach.
It is a waste of time.
Yes.
If life was fair, I wouldn't be in this chair. That's what I say to people when they say, oh, it's not fair. I lost my job. It's not fair. I did this. It's not fair. I'm sick. It's not fair. Life is not fair. So your mama has left the building. Usually it's our mamas who tell us, oh, go to the school. That's not fair. You treated my child. You didn't let them play, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? If you're an adult, your mama has nothing to do with it anymore. Get over it.
Exactly.
Move to action.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Move to action. Move to action. So, thank you so very much. Thank you so very much just for honoring me and just being in a friendship with me and listening to my crazy stuff sometimes. But we will have to talk about a couple of things you said today. And just, I'm so grateful, to have been through, your life with you and you sharing your life with me and you allowing me to share my life with you. And I'm just so proud of you. I just wanted to say you are one of my sheroes and I'm so grateful. So if people want to hear more about your story and they want to get in touch with you, how can they do that?
So I write a blog. It's through WordPress. It's called Creatively Able because I consider myself to be creatively able because I'm a homeowner and I live by myself and there's a whole bunch of stuff I have to figure out how to do creatively. But it's creativelyable.blog or creativelyable.wordpress.com. I believe that's what it is. Anyway, creativelyable.blog. And there you will be able to read all of my blogs, including one that will be a follow-on piece to this discussion on endurance. And it is called Endure, Learn, Grow, Repeat. Because life is just about enduring. So, that's how you can reach me. You can make comments there, and I view all my comments and reply and respond. So,
absolutely. And if you liked this show, we will do a follow-up show. I just want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in to the Ask Zena radio show. Remember, we are here every Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, where we are motivating, inspiring, and sharing and encouraging and all of those actions that we are doing, just making sure that people have information, that they are heard, that they know that they are appreciated. And if you want to be on the Ask Zena show, you need to reach out to me at Coach.AskZena@gmail.com or you can follow me on all of the social media platforms. You can also follow the Good News radio station, and we also have Good News Sports. I want to give a shout out to Keith, the owner. He is absolutely amazing. Thank you for believing in me, giving a shout out, and definitely go to the website and check out all the other shows. I mean, there are tons of shows here. People are just having conversations and sharing information, and you can participate, support the other shows, give a comment on the website. Let Keith know that you like me so that he'll keep me around. No, we're doing good. We're doing good, but still give a comment. I also wanted to give a shout out to Buns hamburger joint in San Pedro. I have to tell this quick funny story that my first show, I decided to go to Buns after the show and to go get a turkey burger because I heard they have all these different meats and these different breads and you can design your hamburger, right? And they had some flyers. And I said, well, can I leave a flyer? I left a flyer and the cook said, well, what's the flyer about? I said, well, I host a radio show called Ask Zena. He said, you're kidding me. I was just listening to that this morning. Oh, my God. He cleans his hands and comes back and, gives me a hug. And I was like, wow, look at that. Look at the universe sharing and spreading and helping me be a vehicle and just using me for what needs to be done and whatever needs to be done and however the universe is going to use me on this planet. Thank you so very much for listening to the Ask Zena radio show and for supporting the things that we do here. And, if there's anything that you think that you want to hear, that you want to know about, you want to know about a job, you have issues with your employer, you need some advice, you can just reach out to me and we can chat and get some answers to help you live the best life possible for you. Thank you for tuning in to the Ask Zena radio show.